Recently, I was just hanging out in my room watching a very important YouTube video when suddenly I realized something.
Hey, wait a minute. I haven't done an episode of the story of in almost a year.
Despite bringing the series back on January 18th of last year, I haven't done a new episode since. For those of you who don't know, the story of is the series on my channel where I take a look at things in the Cars series that were cut or canceled or no longer around. And the reason why there hasn't been an episode in so long is because for the past 5 months now, I've been working on a massive Cars iceberg video, which I announced will now be my 4,000 subscriber special, which I'm now approaching 4,000 subscribers, and I'm still working on it, of course. That video features a bunch of little tidbits about canceled Cars concepts, so a lot of my time has gone into researching for that. But, I think it's about time I bring back a proper episode of the story of, and I think this is a great one to do. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the story of, where today we're going to be telling the story of Giulia, the double agent who became Holley Shiftwell. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Zill, the original villain of Cars 2. My episode on him, which I'm not very proud of nowadays, is one of the most viewed videos on my channel, and it's something that I've been planning to remake for quite a while now. But in order to discuss an updated history of Zill, I feel it's necessary to go over the history of Giulia first before I tackle Zill. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing Giulia, and in the next episode, hopefully, I will be giving an updated history of Zill, the original villain of Cars 2. So who was Giulia? Giulia was based off of an Alfa Romeo Giulia Spider, which clearly is where she gets her name from. And unlike Holley Shiftwell, she wasn't set to be British, instead she was set to be Italian. Giulia was meant to be the team handler for Team 95 in the World Grand Prix, and she was going to become good friends with Mater. But after Mater makes a mistake, much like in the final version of the movie, he was going to run away. But unlike the final version of the movie, he was going to run away with her. Eventually, the two were going to be wrapped up in whatever spy conspiracy, whatever the plan was in the original version of Cars 2. McQueen was going to get roped up with Finn McMissile, and now Giulia was going to be alongside him. In fact, some of our only footage of Giulia, I believe our only footage, comes from a deleted scene called Train to Spain, the commentary for which is where I'm getting most of my information on Giulia here. In this deleted scene, Mater and Giulia are on a train to Spain. Mater tells Giulia that he has some sort of communication device with Finn McMissile. Giulia has smoke coming out of her. This was supposed to take place around the same time as a train fight scene. I'm not sure if this fight scene was going to take place before or after, but unfortunately, we don't have storyboards of said fight scene. The two agree that they both have to get back to McQueen, and that's where the scene ends. Now, as far as I could find, Train to Spain was the only released scene featuring Giulia. If that's not the case, though, definitely let me know in the comments. In fact, if you know any additional information on this character, definitely let me know. I'd love to hear it, if I missed anything. Anyway, though, I believe that's the only scene released featuring her, and in it you could hear her ridiculously over-the-top, stereotypical Italian accent. It's great. But anyway, the very interesting thing about Giulia's character is that, unlike any of the spies in the final version of Cars 2, she was going to be a double agent. That's right, it was going to be revealed that she was working for the villain Zill the entire time. You can see her here with Zill in this storyboard. Unfortunately, there's no audio for this storyboard, but there she is with him. You could also see her with Zill in this concept art that I showed all the way back in my Zill video, which is honestly the reason why I decided to do a deeper dive into Giulia's character. In this brutal piece of artwork, Mater is being held up by a crane, about to be dropped into a molten pit, while Zill watches on, and Giulia watches on in horror. Mater's face shows horror and sadness. Maybe this scene is when Giulia reveals herself to have been evil the whole time to Mater. Or, honestly, there's another way I could have seen this scene going. Maybe Giulia turns on Zill here. Now, we have no confirmation that Giulia would have changed her ways or become good at any point in the movie, but I think it definitely isn't too far-fetched, and one of the only written pieces of information we have on Giulia comes from Cars 2 crew member Nate Staten, who says that the two of them would go off and have their own adventure and then met up again with the other characters at the end. So, the fact that it says that they would have met up, meaning Mater and Giulia, maybe Giulia changes her ways, turns on Zill, and redeems herself. We have no confirmation of this, though. Eventually, of course, Giulia was scrapped and replaced with Holley Shiftwell. Unlike Giulia, Holley was a spy and one of the heroes through and through, having been a Chrome agent throughout the entire duration of the movie, and she and Finn really had no connection to McQueen. Whereas Giulia was supposed to be part of Team 95 as a cover. Interestingly, though, in the final version of Cars 2, Finn and Holley think that Mater uses being part of Team 95 as part of his cover, so maybe that was adapted from some of the earlier concepts with Giulia. Unfortunately, Giulia is a part of Cars 2 that we don't have all that much information on. I did the best I could, but like I said, if you guys know any additional information on this character, definitely let me know in the comments. I would love to hear it. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this episode of The Story Of, and tune in next time when we dive back into Zill. Now, if you don't mind me, I have something very important I've got to get back to.